Why is it that in today's world it's so hard for people to find their purpose? By the end of today's video, I'm going to prove that most people already know their purpose. It's just a matter of fear and internal beliefs preventing them from taking action on their purpose. And so I'm going to give a simple process to identify your purpose. And that is starting from the understanding that if you're unsure and you're feeling lost and you don't know what you should be doing, the first thing you need to do is to start with healing yourself. I'm sure you probably recognize that there are some, whether health issues or lack of mental peace, no, there are certain problems that you want to solve with yourself, with your health first. And so that should be the very foundation, because when we're rooted in ourselves and we are locked into the way we should be living, then more doors open up for us, because from there we often find things that we're passionate about, because God gives us specific problems that we need to work through, because those problems, the solution that we find to those problems are the solutions that we are meant to bring in service to other people who are experiencing the same issues that we have experienced and have transcended and evolved from. So if you're dealing with like anxiety or something, working on healing that and overcoming that through meditation, other practices, you overcoming that puts you in a position to be able to help those who are struggling with the same thing as you. And you can find in that process of doing that, that maybe this is something you align with or something that you don't align with. The next step is finding problems you're passionate about. So once you've healed yourself and you're starting to be able to be in a position to help others, just through the transformations you've made in your own personal life, you can do that and be able to generate revenue for yourself, and as well as to work on identifying, what problems are you passionate about? As we were talking about earlier, what are the things happening, what things are happening that you feel passionate about, and the things that you want to solve for people. And in my own life, like, I recognize, for me, like, I found my purpose at a very young age, and I recognize, like, at high school, that the way we live in society and the system is totally backwards. It's completely messed up, and I became very passionate about solving this problem with the system and seeing how we can create an alternative system. But the first thing I realized is, to do this, to create alternative system, I need to first practice with myself those teachings, that way of life that I would envision for a different system, a different way of life. And so the first couple of years was me going through that, learning meditation, learning different ways of eating, and doing it in a community setting, which is the vision. And as I laid this beautiful foundation, I then became in a position to where I could be able to help others and to consult for others who are wanting to, overcome food addiction and different things. And just being in a position when we prioritize our own self-control and our own self-mastery, we are naturally in position to help those who are in the same place. And doing that kind of opened up doors for me to be able to focus more into this big problem that I want to solve, this mission. And this is a thing that really inspires me, and it goes hand in hand, because the better I can show up through my own day-to-day practices, the more I can serve and be available to other people. And for those struggling to figure out and just to try different things. And it's just experimentation is the most important thing in this stage, and taking action, taking definite action. So if you have an idea, like, oh, I'm really passionate about know what's happening with the animals in my local community. Okay, well, get involved, do that for some time. You may see, oh, well, maybe this isn't it. Or a door opens to, like, that expands into something more. Maybe you're in Africa or working on safari, doing wildlife or something. But taking definite action. And this is where I wanted to point out the fear element here. I think many people have these pulls, these problems that they see, and they have potential solutions in their mind, but they think, who am I to bring the solution here? Like, why are my ideas worthy? Who am I to bring this up? I'm just another person. And these beliefs, this fear, because fear, you're afraid of standing out, you're afraid of the rejection, you're afraid of the potential, all of the unknown that would happen, you speaking your voice, speaking your truth. And so it's important to me to really convey that you probably already have these things that are in your mind, and you just need to take action and move beyond, because God has sent you here to serve the people, has sent you here to serve his creation. And we are made in the image of God, and we are meant to be co-creators. We are meant to be creatives. That's our nature. And so when we aren't, so creation happens for us generally in a problem solving mindset. We're looking for solution for things or ways to improve things. And so, in that sense, when we are putting ourselves out there to solve problems that we're passionate about, we are able to exercise our God-given creative ability. And that's the power that opens up doors. That's the thing that increases magnetism, that draws unto us wealth or whatever things that we're needing to keep going day by day, because we're living in purpose. We're living in that creative spirit that God has implanted in us and wants us to live by. So my question for you, is like, in what ways right now in your life you have these creative ideas, these creative solutions, or you want to try these creative solutions to different problems, or just ways in which you just feel inspired that there is something you want to express, and which one find small ways to begin sharing about it, to begin acting on it, and really begin expressing that creative spirit about it. And once you start doing that, doors will open up for you to really the third level, which is service. So once you found that path, okay, this is it, and you've acted in it, that's when you just fully engage in service. And service in this sense is really to make yourself a channel for a spirit to flow through you and serve those that God has called to you for him to serve through you. And service, in this sense, if it's your purpose and your mission in life, doesn't also necessarily need to mean that it needs to be free or something that you can charge for. That's a really a misconception. It's something that is of value to, and in fact, being able to acquire money unselfishly is really a spiritual quality. It's a noble quality, and something that our world needs today, because when we have more spiritual people acquiring wealth and using it for spiritual means, using it for the upliftment of humanity, then we can make positive shifts and positive actions towards a better society. And so instead of rejecting the wealth and the usage of money, it's important for us to, as spiritual individuals, as spiritual warriors, to learn how to attract it at will and to direct it towards good causes. And I just like to look at for myself, money as energy, and myself being a channel and a vessel for the energy to flow through. And the channel is blessed by that which flows through it. And so, in that sense, by us being able to be a channel for money to flow through so that it can serve those in need, we naturally will also be provided for, because we are that channel being blessed in that process. And so, we can have that abundance by being a channel to serve other people. So, in fact, it's important to be able to do it sustainably and to be able to support yourself and others through this gift that God has given you, because it's a misconception to offer this gift for free, because also at the same time, people may not, generally don't respect the gifts in that sense when it's offered freely in that way, and generally, more attentive or more receptive when there is an equal value of exchange. And so that's why it's an important thing to have that, and to recognize that it doesn't make the gift tainted any less valuable. It's still just as sacred, and in fact is able to open up a space of transformation to happen, because there's this exchange of energy manifested. So in summary, again, it really, finding your purpose is much simpler than what we make it out to be. It's just starting with working on ourselves, finding things we're passionate about, problems we're passionate about, and finding creative solutions to those problems. And then when we find that channel, that path that sticks, then we go all in on it, not hesitating to be able to have that value exchange and be able to generate wealth for yourself, for your family, and for those you're called to serve. So when you do these three things while recognizing the fear is as the main obstacle to all of this, and you're counteracting fear by definite action, then I guarantee that you'll find your purpose in no time. And in fact, you won't even be concerned about finding your purpose, because along the journey of doing this, you're going to be happy, you're going to be feeling fulfilled, because you're exercising your God-given expression to create and to help and serve those in need. That's the true joy, and that's the true success we're all looking for. And the more people that do this, then the more that we can shift the world towards more community living, because those become centers, those become hubs where this creative exchange can happen. We can co-create together, and we can magnify by coming together, because it's not just 1+1 = 2. It's a qualitative transformation when we come together in this way. And the more places like these, the more establishments of this sort of way of life, of these sort of communities, the more civilization can manifest and transform to this higher vibration, to this new earth, because everyone's living in that creative spirit and that image of God that we all are. And that's the future we all want and striving for. If you're looking to level up for your own personal health, well-being, to get this first step going that we talked about, healing yourself, I've opened up a school community. You can see it in the description, and we're doing a 3-day challenge reset, because in my opinion, healing yourself, starts with resetting your body and taking a step back to see what are the things that are really slowing us down, what are the blockages that we're experiencing, and how we can navigate those. If that's something that you're needing to take this next step in your journey, then you can find a link in the description. And please like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. Blessings to you all.